Okay, so we should move to our next student talk. So our next student talk is from Avijit Gupta from ISER Pune. So Avijit, you will be given 12 minutes for the talk and 3 minutes for question answer. So best of luck for the talk. You can
Sure.
start. Yeah,
Am I audible?
yeah, you are audible. You
So
can
let
present the, yeah,
okay.
yeah, it's visible. Make it full screen.
Okay, so the
Yeah.
title of my talk is Accurate Prediction of B or A form of the DNA using its primary sequence with the aid of machine learning and free energy calculation. So why do we choose to solve this particular problem? A and B are two predominant form of DNA, and A DNA in particular is found in extremophiles and certain organisms which have the ability to survive at much higher temperature. So it poses an interesting question. Could we look at the structure of the DNA and infer just from this primary sequence whether we could predict the final conformation with a good amount of probability or not? So this was the motivation behind picking up this problem. And for any machine learning based approach, you need to have a data set. We curated the data set from the NDB database. And after segregating out selected sequences which conform to the same experimental condition, we finally decided to choose 200 sequences. The proportion of the sequence was 63 were A and 137 were B. As you could notice, there's a class imbalance involved here. And choosing the same experimental condition makes them conditionally independent, which is the key step required when we are posing such a problem, because we want to predict the final confirmation just by taking information from the sequence and nothing else. For any machine learning approach, we need to have features. For the feature, we choose the number of the dinucleotide steps in the DNA. And as you could see for this particular example, we just collect the count of the respective dinucleotide step and make them as a feature vector. So it's a 10-dimensional feature vectors using integers as the feature representation. So we tried host of different machine learning algorithms, and finally we found that light GBM, which is a variant of gradient boosting algorithm, performed the best and was fast. And I think you people could be familiar with this cousin XGBoost, which is used a lot in industry as well as in academia for running this gradient boosting technique. So as it is a class imbalance problem, accuracy is just not a good metric to assess whether our machine learning algorithm is performing well or not. So we tested using host of other evaluation criteria, particularly your MCC score, which could be incorporated when you are judging the performance of an algorithm working on an imbalanced data set. So other are precision recall F1 score. So for this particular strategy, since light GBM algorithm involves a lot of hyperparameters, we didn't want us to bias the algorithm performance. So we perform a robust statistical validation technique, which is nested cross validation. Here you have two set of loops. In the outer loop, you have a training fold and a test fold, and each training fold is subdivided into inner folds, which is used for tuning the hyperparameters of the algorithm. And finally, I have shown here the result of the light GBM algorithm. You could see from this ROC graph, ROC represents the true positive rate versus the false positive rate. And the higher the point you achieve on the top left, the better the algorithm performing. You could see we obtained a consistent scores all throughout of our fivefold. And especially PR curves, which are precision recall curves, are important, especially when you are working on a class imbalance problem. For this particular ADNA, we obtain very high value of precision recall curve as well. And you could see here the performance of the algorithm on all different 5 test fold. You could see we obtain consistent score across all of them. And we also obtain a very high MCC score of 0.83 along with high accuracy and performance across all different metrics. So just one could say that using machine learning is a black box, but that's actually not good idea, especially if you're working in a biologically relevant problem. So we wanted to also explain the outcome of our machine learning algorithm. So we built an additional model based upon SHAP technique, which gives us an idea which are the key dinucleotide steps which would be responsible for making a final prediction. Here you could see, so this is the output of the SHAP algorithm, and we found that few of the dinucleotide steps are the key contributors toward the A, and then try to relate it back with the free energy calculation, that was performed quite earlier in our group. So this was one of the key interpretation approach trying to relate the outcome of the machine learning algorithm with the free energy calculation. You could see the dinucleotide step for which you have high value of free energy correlate well with your B DNA region, and similarly for the low ones correlate well with your A DNA region. So in the summary, we could say that GGCC, AATT, and GCGC are the key contributors towards attainment of the final confirmation, and we also find a good concordance between prediction of the absolute free energy calculation and the machine learning approach. So in the end, I would like to say thank you. I worked with Dr. Arnab Mukherjee. With my PhD, I just gave my pre-synopsis seminar, and now I have joined NICE Actimaze as a lead data scientist. So this is our group page and our Twitter handle, so you could connect with us on the social media as well.
Thank you, Abhijit. You are on time, actually. So, audience, do you have any question? You can post your question here in the chat box. Yes, you have a question. So, Dhiman Ray has asked that can you predict any physical reason why certain sequences prefer A or B form?
Yeah. So if you look at the final confirmation where we showed that AATT and GGCC, like AATT for your B and AAGCGC for your A, are responsible because there is a physical reason behind it. So these dinucleotide steps orient themselves in such a manner so that there is a free energy interaction involved and there's a bending and a particular angle. So that is a steric factor as well. So we try to relate back, and our manuscript is currently under review. So where we have highlighted which are the key reasons as well as trying to relate it with the physical interpretation as well. So these are the dinucleotide steps. Depending upon the base pair, they orient them in such a manner. And based upon the previous study, we could find the evidence that there is also a physical and the steric reason behind why certain dinucleotide steps are responsible towards A or B.
Okay. Another question from Pallab. Does the SHAP algorithm shows weights of different pairs?
Yeah, so you could see that in the final graph where we have shown that which are the, let me just share the screen again. So here you could see the respective weights of which are the key dinucleotide step responsible for your A or B. And here it is the individual contribution that is ranked from the high towards the low value. So you could see AATT, GCC, and GCGC are the most three top contributing steps, followed by the other ones.
Okay. Thank you for clearing the doubts. Let's end here. Thank you, Abhijit, for the talk, and
Thanks
I
a lot.
hope you will enjoy the session. Okay.